For the past decade or so, there's been this unspoken agreement that's run the entire digital world for creators and for brands. But that era, it's coming to an end. A huge shift is happening right now from what's called digital sharecropping to something much more powerful, digital sovereignty. And we're going to break down exactly what that means. So let's just cut right to the chase with the big question. You've spent years, maybe even a decade, building up a following on social media. But do you really own that audience? I mean, really? The answer, well, it's probably not what you want to hear. And to really get why that is, we've got to peel back the layers and look at the fundamental problem. It's this concept called the digital sharecropping contract. Now, that phrase, digital sharecropping, it's the perfect metaphor. Think about it. Creators, brands, communities, we're all basically digital farmers. We're working tirelessly on land that we will never, ever own. And all that value we create, it goes straight to the landlords, in this case, the big tech giants. I mean, you're the one putting in the work, right? You're creating the incredible content, sparking the conversations, building the community. The platforms like Meta, TikTok, and X, they just provide the digital land. It's an incredibly powerful setup, but it's also a deeply, deeply unfair one. So what's the catch? Well, this whole lopsided deal leads to something we can call a hidden success tax. It's a series of painful consequences that, believe it or not, actually punish you for growing and becoming more successful. And this tax shows up in three really big systemic ways. First, you hit what's called the algorithmic ceiling, which throttles your reach. Then, you're hit with data blindness, which means you can't actually understand your own audience. And finally, the scariest one of all, platform risk, this constant threat that everything you've built could vanish overnight. And this right here, this visualizes that first problem perfectly. You could have 1 million followers, but the platform's algorithm, this total black box, gets to decide if any of them actually see your stuff. Your organic reach plummets, sometimes below 5%. And suddenly, you have to pay just to talk to the people who already said they want to hear from you. And this leads straight to data blindness. You see, these big platforms treat your user data like it's their own private gold mine. They lock it away. You don't get the emails. You don't get the deep insights. So let's be crystal clear. You're not building your customer list. You're building it for them. And then there's this. This is the one that should keep you up at night. One wrong move, one post that an algorithm misinterprets, one sudden change to the terms of service, and an automated system can ban you. Poof. Years of hard work, your entire community, just gone, with absolutely no one to call. Okay, but it is not all doom and gloom, I promise. There's a new way emerging, a really powerful shift away from this broken model, and that is the shift to sovereignty. Let's just put it side by side. The difference is night and day. On rented land, you're just a subject, living at the mercy of their algorithms, their data rules, and their risks. But on land you actually own, in your own sovereign digital space, you control the whole game. You own the algorithm, you own the data, and you own how you make money. Okay, so we get the why. Owning your space is the goal. But the big question is, how? How is this even possible? Let's get into the actual technology that's making this independence a reality. See, in the past, if you wanted your own social platform, you needed millions of dollars and a team of engineers. That's all changing, thanks to a new model called Social Network as a Service, or SNAS. Companies like Linkspreed, for example, are providing the core infrastructure so you can launch your own network without that insane cost and complexity. And what's so game-changing here is how it completely flips the economics on its head. Instead of platforms taking a massive 30 or 40% cut of your revenue, some of these SaaS providers work on a 0% take rate. You pay a flat subscription, and that's it. As you grow, the profits are yours. The success tax is gone. So what about that data we talked about? Well, true ownership means your community's data is actually yours. It's not all thrown together in some giant database with everyone else's. Instead, you get your own dedicated, isolated space for your data. It's secure, it's safe, and it belongs to you. And this is where it gets really, really cool. When you have all that rich data, you can plug in powerful AI tools. Imagine just asking, in plain English, a question like this, and getting an instant, actionable list back. You're no longer flying blind. You have a direct line into what your community actually thinks and does. And we're not just talking about another website here. This is about building a true home for your community with your own native apps for iOS and Android. It's your icon on their home screen. That's a depth of connection that a third-party logo just can't compete with. Now, the magic that holds all this together, it really comes down to identity. Instead of the platform owning everyone's data, a self-sovereign identity system gives control back to the user with private keys. Just think of it like giving every single person the deed to their own digital identity. It's the best of both worlds, easy to use like we're all used to, but with the security of where the web is going next. So here's the bottom line. The era of being completely dependent on these giant tech platforms for our digital survival, it's ending. The path from just being a renter to becoming an owner is finally here, and it's clear. Look, the most important thing to take away from all this is that the tools and the technology to break free, they're not some far-off dream anymore. They are here, right now. It's time to stop building on rented land and start building a future that you actually control. So, at the end of the day, it all comes down to a choice. Now that you see the real risks of renting and the incredible rewards of owning, the question isn't if this shift is happening. It is. The only question is, where will you stand? Will you continue to be a renter, or will you become an owner?